This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, André Brisson.
Hello, André here again from the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, short. I don't know if you noticed in the background on my last short, some water rumbling or some background noise. It's actually Talking Falls on the English River in northwestern Ontario. I'm staying at my cousin's fishing camp lodge called Cozy Camp. I'm sitting on the at the top of the dock of his outpost, which is a few miles down the English River, where it's nice pickerel, walleye fishing. But I'll tell you one thing. Coming up here, it's the second year in a row I've done this. It's one of the most peaceful things ever. And what I've discovered in the last couple of years is being out in the wild, away from the humdrum of city and real life. Nature just calms my brain down and mind, where I get a break. It's a mental break. I can just sit here all day listening to those waterfalls, the winds rustling through the leaves. I get really good sleeps, and I can spend all day here just sitting in the boat, casting, doing that repetitive thing over and over again, and just having a mental break. I've always loved nature. I've always liked being out in the quiet, and over here, we're so far away from things. There's no traffic, there's nothing. It's so quiet here, you can hear the mist rise in the morning off the English River. One thing I did discover, especially throughout this COVID stuff, not being allowed to go to nature, to go camping, to go find that mental break, has been pretty depressing. I'm up here right now with my oldest daughter for 2 weeks at Cozy Camp, and I got to go back in a couple days, but 2 weeks of this, I want some more, because I haven't had much of this in the last couple of years. One thing I did learn is I got to do this frequently. I got to go regularly to go hikes or go to a provincial park or a federal park just to go hike and listen to the wind blowing through the trees. Or for me, Lake Huron, where I was raised. Lake Huron is my biggest source of peace. Listen to that lake, rustling waves coming in. That lake talks to me in certain ways, but at the same time really rejuvenates me and gets me to calm down and settle down. And I can go back to real life, and like I said, it's amazing that my brain is not running at 200 miles an hour, it's only running at 100 miles an hour. And it's such a break that you cannot believe. I can sit, concentrate on one or two things rather than 500 different things. So I task you to try this. When you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're tired, have a big week, especially a big focusing week, on stuff you couldn't hyper-focus on. Go to your nearby park. Go somewhere where you're out in the wilderness, that you can't hear the city. You can't hear nothing except for the wind rustling or the leaves rustling in the wind. And you get just that quiet, and you'll find that your brain has slowed down. You can process some things. You can think at a few things at a time and find calm. I always found that finding relaxation was something I could never do. I think it's physically impossible for ADHD people to get relaxed and find relaxation. So I switched it up and I turned it to finding calm. In the wilderness, Mother Nature, the woods, the lakes, that is calm. Just to have your brain slow down a little bit is truly a gift, and it's truly something that must be done regularly and frequently. Well, I hope this helps you understand your brain a little more, and how, for me, listening to waterfalls or the leaves rustling in the wind just calms my brain down. It calms me down. I'm not tense. I can sit here and just listen to this for hours and do nothing, which is kind of odd for me. Because my ADHD, I got to keep going. I got to do something. But being out here in the wilderness, I can just sit here and enjoy it for hours and not have to feel to do something. Well, this is André with the Impulsive Thinker podcast with another short. Please subscribe at the bottom whatever podcasting you listen to. And you can join us also at www.theimpulsivethinker.com, where you can find other episodes and share comments and share ideas that you'd like to hear, or any questions you've got for me. Send them down. Thanks again for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Here is an ADHD afterthought. I'd like to hear from you. What is your mental break? Or how do you take a mental break? How do you get away from all the noise, as I like to refer it to? I'd like to hear from you about your mental breaks. You can send to me at questions@theimpulsivethinker.com or in the comments below. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by André. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.